Day 2, StreamTV. Let's go.
Surprise moments on the show floor.
Doug Kushla. Day 2, StreamTV. How we feeling?
I do not do video. You know this.
All right, let's talk about some of the recaps for Day 2 of StreamTV. As of the summer of 2026, the most watched CTV app is YouTube. YouTube actually had a huge panel that I watched, and it was very revealing. They're investing in something they call creator shows, and that comes complete with a new interface element that's formatted for TV content, grouping files into seasons and episodes that the user can filter through. They also have a new brand partnerships initiative where they are encouraging brands to engage YouTube content creators directly. Kind of like sponsorships, but even more selective. There's also a lot of talk about podcasts, specifically video podcasts, which are trending in a direction that makes them a lot more like talk shows or late night. These kinds of podcasts are also becoming the hottest intersection between Hollywood and social media. And sort of piggybacking off of that, YouTube is making a push for content creators to be considered at the Emmy Awards. Last note about YouTube, they believe that AI should fuel human creativity, not replace or supplant it. Back to the CTV conversation from yesterday, day 1. They're talking about doing sponsored screensavers on connected TVs. You walk away from your TV with the video paused for like however long, 30 seconds, whatever, then a screensaver pops up, but it's themed after the event that you are watching. Another note about CTV, the powers that be are de-emphasizing interactive features because CTV is so hot in this space. It's kind of dominating right now. Interactivity features don't really work all that well in a CTV context. We heard from the CEO at Wurl, a big player in the streaming space. They are talking about how revenue in the fast world has kind of stayed level for a while, but viewership is way up. So revenue per viewer has actually decreased enough to make them think that we might be heading for the downside of a bell curve. One of their proposed solutions to that is for platforms and distributors to lower their cut of revenue sharing models and transfer that over to the people who are supplying the content. Platforms can't grow without content. So if you claim too much of the revenue share for yourself so that the people giving you content can't really sustain themselves, then you might be embracing a short-term gain in exchange for a long-term fall-off. And so if you want to avoid that, they say you should invest more in the people who are giving you the content. Speaking of content, they did address the issue of content overwhelm or oversupply, fatigue, and they said that the solution they think makes the most sense for that problem is not to decrease the amount of content, but to help the user filter through the noise using primarily recommendation algorithms. So curation, not downsizing. That's what Wurl thinks is needed here. I'll give you the rest later, but now I gotta head back into the next panel. All right, final takeaways from day 2 of StreamTV. The experts are saying that the biggest reason smaller creators and production studios are having a really hard time competing with the big guys, it's because their metadata sucks. The biggest advantage of having really good metadata is that it makes your content easier to discover. Discovery is the primary thing that a smaller outfit needs in order to compete in an attention economy. So if the big studios are continuing to dominate in areas like budget, manpower, name recognition, and metadata/discovery, the little guys don't have a chance. They really got to get better at metadata. They are also saying that short form, low budget content is currently outperforming long form, high budget content. But it also means that if you are a smaller production studio content creator making lower budget, shorter form content, you might have an advantage in this current paradigm. And finally, they talked about crowding. They're like, there's a lot of fast channels out here, but they don't see it so much as a quantity problem as much as a monotony problem. So what they're predicting is that the fast channels over the next 5 years or so are going to become less numerous, but more diverse. I have something of my own that I want to add on top of that. What that says to me is that they're also gonna narrow their focus and become more niche. And to be clear, I think this is a very good thing for everyone. Creators, producers, viewers, platforms, advertisers. It's gonna make everybody happier. For creators and producers, it allows them to lean into whatever it is that makes their content unique and stand out. And they don't have to worry as much about how commercially viable these eccentricities are. It benefits the viewer because the viewer is suffering from fatigue because of how numerous and similar all of these channels are. And there we go. StreamTV Day 2 is in the books. I'll see you tomorrow for the recap of Day 3. Take care, everybody.